Here's a quick video installing a Hisense 8000 BTU window unit. This is the UltraSlim. It's kind of a U-shaped, short, hey dog, window unit. We just installed one of these in the other kid's bedroom, and it was super easy to install and works pretty well. So we're gonna do another one in our other kid's bedroom just to help kind of keep the house cool. So I'll start with some unboxing. So the first thing I always like to do is check to make sure I have all of the hardware that I'm supposed to have. So I basically went and laid everything out according to the hardware list, make sure that I have everything, which I do. That's good. Another thing I always recommend is go ahead and before you install anything, make sure your window unit works. So I'm going to take these stickers off everywhere, all this blue tape and yellow stickers. Take the wrapper off the cord. I'm going to plug it in and set it to cool and make sure it blows cold air. You don't want to go install all this, put the window unit in, and start up for the first time and realize it doesn't work. So now's the time to make sure it works. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll get started on step one. In addition to everything that comes with it, you're going to need a Phillips head screwdriver and some sort of a cutting tool. I'll probably end up using a utility knife, but you can also use scissors. And to correctly install it, probably a power drill and a drill bit. But I'm debating whether or not I'm going to drill it in or not. But yeah, so step one is going to be setting up the support bracket. This goes outside the window and putting the correct size arms on it so that it fits inside of our window. So basically what I'm going to do is get that opened up. Go drop it in our window, and then make sure I pick the correct arm, either the short arm or the long arm that goes in the right side so that it fits the window correctly. Okay, so I'm gonna open my window, which we never open, so it's kind of stuck. Move my screen. Get our bracket. So I'm going to remove this tape. Of course, I'm doing this on the hottest day of the year. Mosquitoes. So, whoops, that's not supposed to fall out. It's like I'm missing a pin. So put that there. Adjust these legs just to hold it in place for now. And I need to find the right slide here to fit on this side. So I guess the most important thing to focus on here is that this bracket has this lip right here, or this channel, and it needs to be on the inside of your window. So my window has a sill. You can see here it's about 3/4 of an inch tall. This is going to sit inside of that sill. Okay, so again for my window, because it's kind of a wider window, I can see that the short arm isn't going to fit on the right side, right? It's too short. So I know I'm going to have to use a long one. So I'm just going to again pick this up and just simply slide this in like that, so that this is this little bracket is facing upwards, and then push that out all the way, and then I just need to make sure that this is centered. The way I'm going to make sure this is centered is I'm going to count the holes inside of there on the right side, count the holes on the left side, and make sure they're equal. So I'm gonna do that, get this centered, and then move on to the next step. Okay, next thing I want to do is work on the exterior support legs for this bracket. So we want to make sure that this bracket has a slight lean down towards the outside. I think it says like 3 degrees or something, but basically just adjust these forward and back to make sure that the bracket is slightly leaning backwards, just a little bit. And then once we have that adjusted where we want, making sure that those feet are against the wall, then we can use these wing nuts to put in the hole and lock it in place. Okay, so we got that screwed in. At this point you can also drill some holes in your windowsill. So along the edges here, oops, like here, here, and here, to screw this in. I'm not going to do that on mine, but it is what the directions tell you to do, so you can do that now. You can just follow the directions, drill some holes, and drop some screws in. But you do want to add these little plastic tabs on the back here. They said to be at least 13 inches away from the window, and then run your seal A3 to the top of the secure support. So some of the seal that came with it, the rubber gasketing, I'm going to run along the top of this. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to add those 2 little wings back there, at least 13 inches behind the window, and then put that gasket along the top. Okay, next step is to attach this thin gray seal to the bottom of the window that's going to come down on top of the air conditioner unit. So, you know, wipe that off. Probably better do it with a rag or something, clean that off good. Get your gray seal, measure it, just kind of eyeballing it. And then attach that seal to the bottom of the window that's going to come down on top of the window unit. And this is just, again, for efficiency reasons. Try to keep a good seal outside and around the new window unit. Okay. Just a little long. Okay. Now we get to drop the window unit in. So again, it's a pretty quick install. So next thing, I'm going to go ahead, grab the window unit and drop it down onto there. Really most important thing is don't drop it out of the window. If you got somebody else to help you, now's a good time to get somebody else to help you. And try not to tear up that rubber seal we just put in. So just be gently with it. Don't put it down on the seal and then push it back and then rip that seal. Okay. Here's the window unit. It shows in the instructions that you got 2 handles right here where you can grab it onto. And you're just gonna put it on here. And should be about there so the window can fall on there. I don't know why this won't close. Hopefully it's not broken. Mine seems to be leaning back a little too much though, so let me see what's going on real quick. Okay, so I felt like mine was leaning back too much, so I actually pulled this out, readjusted those 2 arms that are touching the outside wall. I brought them up towards me 1 step just to raise that support a little bit. and put the window unit back on. So now I feel like it sits a little more level. So now that it's in place, we can move on to the next step. Okay, so now we're gonna close the window gently to make sure that it's aligned correctly. Somebody has to come forward just a little bit, just like that. And so that's about where you want it to sit. Make sure it's centered left and right pretty close. Doesn't have to be perfect. Mine is unfortunately broken. I just realized this front cover, this piece right here is not supposed to swing up and down like that. It's supposed to be upright, but mine broke, and so it doesn't keep this filter cover closed, unfortunately. Anyways, so yeah, now that we got that about where it needs to be, next step is going to be installing the side louvers on either side to block the open part of the window. Okay, next we need to attach these two sash locks, they call them, on either side. So go around to the side. These three slots should be lined up inside of where the window sill is, like so where the actual window drops down. So we're just going to drop this down into this slot here, like that, and then you can put screws in here to attach this down and lock it. Again, I'm not planning on screwing anything into the window, so I'm just gonna leave it like there for now. But if you want to fully secure this, you drop these on either side, and then you can drill and put screws into there to secure this. Okay, so next we need to install these little plastic curtain pieces on the side here. So it comes with two different sizes. Each side has a left and each side has a right. They say L on it. If the normal L works for you, it covers that gap, and just use a normal L. But if your window is too big, it also comes with an L plus panel. You can see there, L plus. And so the way you do that is you push up on this bottom tab here. You can take off the L panel, and then you can slide on the L plus panel. You just hook the top first, and then slide on the bottom. Whoops. Hook the top, slide on the bottom. And now you have a bigger panel for bigger gaps. So find out if you need the short one or the long one for each side. Once you do that, then you can slide this into the channel on either side of the window unit. So I'm going to use the long one. I think either one would work in my situation, but I'm just going to use the long ones. I'll show you how to do that. So here's the left side of the window unit. So I'm just going to open my window a little bit. And so what you're trying to do is get this tab to go into these slots here, just the top two. So get in here and drop it down. Make sure it slides into those two tabs. I'm gonna have to push my window unit back just a little bit so it drops fully down. This plastic piece should drop behind this bracket here. So it should be behind the bracket, and then extend this plastic piece as far out as it can to fill the gap. So we'll do the same thing on the right side. So again, get this in here. Make sure that that tab goes into these top two slots on the side. You might have to scoot the window unit forward and backwards a little bit. There it goes. And needs to fall behind this piece. And just like that. Okay. And then now, just double check that the window falls there and sits correctly behind this top lip on both sides. Okay, the last few things. First is it comes with these styrofoam blocks that you can cut to fit here. So basically measure whatever this inside of this plastic is and cut this to fit. You can drop that in there to insulate. Or if you're lazy, just drop these full size. Whatever you prefer. I'm going to cut to fit them later. Next, you want to get this thick gray foam and cut it to length for this gap between the bottom and top windows. And so you're going to cut this to width and then just kind of stuff this in here. And that's just going to help, again, protect and insulate the outside air from coming in. And the last thing is make sure you find a way to secure your window, because now you can't use the locks. So it comes with a little bracket that I lost. So the bracket you can screw into the side here to hold it, or what I typically do for window units is I'll just cut a piece of wood, like a 2x4, to length, where the bottom will be here and the top will extend up until it hits the top of the window right there. And I just put a block of wood right there, and that stops the window from being able to be lifted. So with that, it's complete. And yeah, so if there's any questions, feel free to drop a comment. But really simple install. I mean, if I wasn't videoing, this would have taken me 20 or 30 minutes. And again, this is our second one of these units, and they work pretty good. We use ours through the Amazon Alexa app, and it works pretty good. So hope this was helpful.